Det här är Ella Engstrom och du lyssnar på Fascination Street Podcast. Och vet du vad? Ta hand om din egen skit så slipper andra. This is Ella Engstrom and you are listening to Fascination Street Podcast. And go now and get your shit together.
Yeah! AV in your ears. That's Ambush Being giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street. You already know. Let's get it when you whip in the Fascination Street. What do you...
Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Ella Engstrom. Ella is one of the three hosts of the television show The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, which is streaming on Peacock and Bravo. The television show helps people declutter and reorganize and kind of get rid of the things that are in the way and make room for the things that actually bring joy into their space and their surroundings. In this episode, we get to know Ella. We talk about where she was born and raised and growing up in Sweden. We do go a little bit off on a tangent about how some of the Swedish things are better than some of the American things and kind of maybe what makes those things different. And we talk about her previous career in the retail space, where for 30 years she was a concept developer and a visual merchandiser. What the hell does that mean? Well, she tells us. And then we talk about the show. Again, it's called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. It's available on Peacock and Bravo. There's 8 episodes. It's so much fun. All three of the hosts bring such character and such fun and frivolity to the show that it's not to be missed. My wife and I loved the show. We blew through the whole first season. We're hoping for a second season. Ella even tells us how we can actually use her particular services in our everyday life. She's a consultant and she helps people either online or if you happen to be in the Sweden area, she helps you there too. But she does offer help to everybody via the internet. Listen to find out how to reach out and get a hold of her. I had so much fun talking to Ella. She is the sweetest. You see what I did there? Because she's sweet. She's Swedish, but she's the sweetest. Special thanks to you and Svensson for helping make this happen. I really appreciate you, buddy. And this is my conversation with one of the hosts of The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, Ella Engstrom.
Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Ella Engstrom. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine. Really nice to be here with you.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting for me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ella Engstrom. You may know her from the television show The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, which is available on Peacock and Bravo. But we're going to talk about that later. First, Ella, what I like to do is I like to get to know the guest. It helps us understand how the guests got from where they were to where they are. So where were you born and raised? Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I actually grew up in Stockholm first. I'm born in Stockholm, but then my family, we moved up to the middle of Sweden to Dalecarlia, it's called. So you can say that is the most Swedish town. It's where the Dala horse is made and, so it's very much tourism here in where I live now.
So are you back in Dalecarlia now?
Yeah, actually, I moved here as well for a few years ago. So I live in Leksand, it's called, the little town that I'm living. So I have a house here out in the countryside.
Dalecarlia is also where you and Svensson is from, right? Same town?
Yeah, he's from here as well, from another town, but he has also been living here when he was younger. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ewan Svensson is also one of the hosts of The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, and he's a previous guest, so go check out that episode. It was a lot of fun. Ella, what did you want to be when you grew up? Over here in America, our parents usually have some opinions about what they want us to do with our lives. Is it like that in Sweden? Did your parents want you to be something? And if so, what?
I don't think it's quite the same that it is in US. They are not like you need to go and study and be the same occupation and so on that they are in. So it wasn't, it was quite free what you wanted to be. You can be what you want kind of way. So, but I have always been interested in interior design and homes and projects and that kind of things.
Where do you think that comes from?
My upbringing, of course, because my parents also, they were like building houses. We moved a lot. They have a lot of projects. They renovated and so on. So I was in that process all the time. You can say like a little helper, you giving my dad tools and everything on the construction site, you can say. So I saw how you can transform homes and things to something else. You repaint the furniture and so on. So I always have to do upcycling and so on things, that you can transform things, that it could be something else. So I have had that eye to see, you can do this with this thing and so on.
So you grew up watching stuff like that happen, so it's just second nature.
Yeah, absolutely. And my grandparents, they were also very into fixing things and so on, did a lot of DIY projects and so on. So my upbringing, I would say that it comes from that side.
So is that a very Swedish thing? Like, is all of Sweden like that? Or is it just kind of specific to your family? Or we're very wasteful over here. I'm sure you saw that when you got here. But is that a very Swedish thing to upcycle and reuse and pass things on?
Yeah, it's quite common, actually, that you do it like that you take care of what you have. And also, if you move from home, you get things from your family that you can redo and so on. So before you go and buy something new, you take care of what you already have and see if you can do something different with that. In a new context, the things can be something different when you put them together. So I think that is quite a Swedish thing, actually. But I would say as well that not everyone is like that, of course. But I think it's more common here, actually. You do a lot of DIY.
Do you think it's because Sweden is smaller and kind of has a limited space? Or do you think it's because Sweden is so much older and wiser than America?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I actually don't know. I don't think it's the size, but maybe it's the history. That it was quite a poor country, it was farmers and so on. So you didn't have so much. You really took care of what you had from the beginning. So maybe it's from that. I really don't know, actually.
Plus, I think that over there, you guys build better things. Like if you build a desk, then your great grandkids can still use it because it's a quality piece of furniture. Over here, we just buy garbage and then it breaks and we throw it away.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of things have quality on them, of course. But then, of course, we have IKEA as well. Then it's more available for everyone, you can say, because it's quite, everyone can afford those kind of furnitures as well.
I'm glad you brought up IKEA.
Yeah.
Let's talk about IKEA for a second.
We can do that.
In the opinion of the Swedes, is IKEA garbage or is it a decent store? Is it okay?
It's a decent store. I would say that almost everyone buy IKEA items. And also you can redo them as well and upcycle them and do them so they get a little more personality. So it's more your style. So on Instagram and so on, you can see those IKEA hacks where you can redo furniture and so on.
I've always had a little bit of a dream where I record my show, but I record it like in IKEA living rooms. Because, you walk into IKEA and they have a whole living room set up, or they have a dining room set up, or the kitchen.
Yeah.
I always had a dream where I do like a little short series where I interview people face to face, like a guest or whatever. But I set it up in the IKEA display living room just to see how long I could do it without getting thrown out.
I think it would go quite quick before they said something.
Okay, so IKEA is famous for build-it-yourself furniture that's affordable and kind of modern and European looking, but also they're famous for their meatballs.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually eat their meatballs, or is that just silly Americans falling in love with Swedish meatballs?
No, I always eat meatballs when I'm at the IKEA, or a sausage, of course, korv med bröd, that it's called in Sweden, because they have very cheap sausage also in buns. So that was one of his ideas, actually. If you have a good feeling in your stomach, if you are, what does it called? Yeah, if you are filled with food, and then you can take better decisions and buy things as well. So that was a part of his idea.
Really? That's all part of the whole thing, huh?
Yeah, it's a part of the whole thing that people stay longer, of course, if you have a restaurant in the store. So that was
Sure.
kind of smart, and also to have it very cheap, of course, so you could buy those hot dogs or
Well,
sausage.
we love IKEA over here for sure. Okay, so in your previous life, I think you have retired from all of this, but before you were in the retail space. You were like a space saver, kind of an interior design professional organizer, and you did 30 years as like a concept developer and visual merchandiser. Is that right?
Yeah, was my occupation before.
What does that mean? What is a concept developer visual merchandiser? What is that?
Yeah, you actually are the one that design how the store should look. So you do the interior in the store, for example, draw how the tables and everything, and the gondolas and everything that have products on it, how that should look. And you also do sketches and everything, how the product should be displayed in the store. For example, windows, how they should be displayed, or campan tables and everything. So everything that are put in the store, you have a lot of thought. It's a lot of thought behind it. It's a lot of psychology, actually, because you don't buy just by that. If you set up a store, you can trick people to buy things they don't think they needed from the beginning, So it's a lot of psychology. So actually, I have worked with that, tricking people to buy things they didn't know that they needed before.
Is that something that you learned in school? Like, how did you learn to trick people with displays?
I actually did go to high school to be a visual merchandiser. I learned that, how you think and how you have that. And then I were a teacher as well, and teach the other visual merchandiser for quite a few years as well. That's really an interesting, and how you display things and how you put things together in a mix so you get inspired and so to buy.
You learned that in high school?
Yeah, it's a high school here, actually, in the town where I live, that is for visual merchandisers. So you go there to learn that occupation.
So here in high school, it's really just the basics. And then you either after high school go learn a trade, or then you go to university. So over there, you learn trades in high school?
Yeah, you can do that, and or in university, of course, but you start in high school to have like a kind of direction where you want to be in, what kind of occupation.
So what made you pick that? I mean, that's a pretty specific career path. What made you decide to do that when you were in high school? Because over here in high school, nobody knows what the hell they want to do. But over there, it sounds like you had a pretty good idea of what you wanted to do. Like, how did you settle on that in high school?
Yeah, I mean, it was also the design, I think, that made me interesting to pick that kind of pattern and starting to read that subject. But first, I also did work with kids and so on in quite many years before I started.
How so? What do you mean? What did you do with kids?
I worked as a daycare mom, took care of kids. That was for my first job, actually. So I started to work.
God bless you.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's hard.
Yeah, I quit that job after a while. When I got my own children, I thought that was enough to have my own. I didn't think I needed to take care of others also. That was too much. So yes, then I changed path in my career.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 children, and they are grown up now and have left the nest, so to say. So my oldest one are 36, actually. So I have grandchildren also, 2 of them. So I'm a grandmother.
How do you like being a grandmother?
That's the best thing, to be a grandmother. You can borrow them for a while and then you can leave them. Leave them back, give them back to the parents as well. We have actually been together now for a few days also on a trip. So we were to visit my oldest son that lives in Gothenburg. So we have been there and had the grandchildren with us also, driving in the car in 5.5 hours with them. And they were asking, when are we there? When are we there? Every 10 minutes. They were like, are we there yet? So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that it's not just American kids who do that, because that is super annoying. And I'm glad that the kids spread it out all over the world.
Yeah.
Now, I do follow you on Instagram and you post some fun things about trips and whatnot. Do I understand that you have a second home in Crete?
Yeah, in Cyprus.
In Cyprus.
Yes, there I have a home in the sun as well. So I have an apartment over in North Cyprus.
Why?
Because it's so cold here in Sweden in the winter, and I love the sun. So it's warm there all year around. So then we can be there sometimes.
It's warm there all year?
Yeah, it's warm there all year. So it's in the Mediterranean, so it's quite hot all the time there. It's like Swedish summer all year around there. So, and now it's really hot. It's like over 100 degrees there
Celsius.
now. Yeah. No, Fahrenheit, not Celsius, but 45 Celsius so degrees. So it's really warm now, actually. But that's correct. I have a second place. There we are, so much as we can. We work a lot here in Sweden, of course, but then we are there as well and doing the interior design.
So you said you work a lot. You have your own business where you come in and help people organize and declutter, that kind of thing?
Yes, that's what I do now. I start my own business. It's 4 years ago, something that I started my own business doing that. So I help people organize and declutter their homes, doing the death cleaning, so to say, in their homes.
Why? What made you, so you retired from 30 years or working at that other job, being a visual merchandiser and whatnot. So why did you decide, you know what, even though I retired, I'm bored, I'm going to start my own business? How come?
I have downsized and doing the declutter at my own place. It's over 20 years ago that I started to declutter. And I noticed the difference, actually, how much better I felt when I did get rid of a lot of stuff that I didn't need and so on. So I know the difference that it does in people's life. And I had a lot of people that, they wanted to have help, actually. And also when you do interior design, you can't just do that part if you don't deal with other things that people already have. And normally people have too much stuff that doesn't serve them in their homes. So it's a good thing to start to do that before you can do the other things with the surface things, more to say, and do the decoration part of it. So, I think the logistics in a home, we are there a lot, and many people don't think about how they are really using their home. So it just is what it is. They haven't given it a thought of, okay, how do we use this space and what is the smartest way to store these things near where we use them as well, and so on. So it gets quite messy, many times because you haven't looked at the logistic and how you can set up your home smart. So that's really one of the things that I saw from the retail industry. When you are planning a store there, everything has a thought how it's built. And that you can apply that actually into a home as well, that thought. Because in a store, you really think, how should the customer go through the store? How do we get them to use this corner as well in that? So you can really apply that in a home as well and see what surface, what spaces do we use often and what kind of corners don't we use at all. Then you can optimize the home much better. So you use all your space.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Introducing Loom Stupid, where fashion meets quirkiness. Whether you're looking for statement tees that spark conversations or funky pieces that add whimsy to your outfit, Loom Stupid has got you covered. Join the fashion revolution and express your unique style with Loom Stupid. Visit our exclusive website at www.loomstupid.com and discover a world of fashion that's brilliantly bizarre and undeniably chic. New designs are being added all the time. loomstupid.com. Get your whimsy on with Loom Stupid. Because being silly is the new stylish.
Let's get back into it.
So let's talk about decluttering for a minute. About 10 or 11 years ago, my wife and I, our kids had graduated and moved out, and we were moving across the country for a job. And so we were selling our home. And that's the home. We had lived there for like 12 years and raised our kids there. And we were moving to a little bit of a smaller place in a different state.
Mm.
And when we were going through all of our stuff, we just kept looking at each other and like, where did we get all this stuff from? Like, where did we get that? Whose is that? Where did that come from? What is that? We had been in that house for 12 years and we still had wedding presents that we had, we had unwrapped them, but we had never opened whatever it was, and so like we would just store them places. We just had so much stuff and we couldn't figure out how it happened. And, it just slowly accumulated over all these years. We just had all this stuff. So we got rid of a bunch of stuff. We downsized, we gave stuff away, we sold stuff, whatever. And then when we got to our new place, we decided, you know what, we're not going to do that again. We're not going to buy a bunch of stuff and just keep collecting stuff. So we decided that we would give each other experiences. We'd go visit this or we'd go visit that or whatever, instead of just keep buying each other's stuff. A year and a half later, we moved back to our same town that we moved from, and we got even a different house. Wouldn't you know it, we already in 1 year and a half had accumulated a whole bunch more shit. And we were just like, where does all this come from?
Yeah, it's quite fascinating.
It really is. So do you have any tips to help us, especially me and my wife, stay on the straight and narrow? Like, do you have any tips about how we can stop collecting all this nonsense?
Yeah, one trick is to have one in, one out. If you buy something in, just take something out as well to see, so then you can have it on the same level as well. But another trick is, of course, to wait a day or so before you buy a thing. Then you can rethink as well, do I really need this as well? And I think if you have a good, looking through your home as well, as I said, looking through the logistics and how you can organize everything in the best way, then you know what you have in your corners and in your place, in your storage and so on. So then it's easier that it doesn't end up to be a lot of duplicates and so on. And also to do it, I think it's an ongoing process. So you need to declutter over time and do it again and again and again. I do it 4 times a year actually home here. So I do it when it's a new season. It's quite a good time to do it because here we have the different autumn and spring and summer and winter. So then it's a perfect time to go through your clothes and everything and see, okay, now I put this away. And when you do the seasonal shift, then you can go through the things as well. So you know that you just have the things that you use and those things that you really love. So that's one. And also start with the duplicates.
One of the things that you guys do on the show is things that are important or special or bring people joy, you kind of bring them out in the open.
Yeah.
Instead of, that picture of your great grandparents being in a book on a shelf in a closet, you frame it and put it someplace that, people can see it if that's something that they enjoy. And I think that when you do that, it makes your home more of a refuge and a place you want to be. If that makes any sense, it makes it more comfortable. And I've noticed that when we have done that and, we kind of make our space more enjoyable for us. It makes us not want to go anywhere. Like we'd rather just stay home and enjoy our house than, go out and do whatever. And so I think that if we're going to spend all this money for a house, we might as well make it a place that we enjoy and it's our solace, it's our refuge. And so I do appreciate that part of the show where you guys did that. We're going to talk about the show in a few minutes, but I have more questions. One of the tips that I heard from somebody else a long time ago, over here, we have a lot of clothes, right? Like we have just closets full of clothes, and you've seen that like a lot. One of the things that I heard a long time ago was at the beginning of the year, right? Like January 1st, you turn all of your hangers backwards.
Yeah, that's a really smart tip as well. Or say that I will put everything in from the right side or something. So when it comes to the left again, so to say, then you really see. So when you use the cloth, then you can switch the hanger to the right side again. Then you see what you actually use in your closet as well. And also you can take away some of the things and put them in a box, like a quarantine box, and just test if you need so much that you have in your closet. So that's also a quite good way to test if you're afraid to get rid of things. And if you think that, maybe change my mind, second thoughts about the things. So that's a good way also to test how many trousers or how many t-shirts and so do I really need, and test. And start then to pick out the ones that you normally pick the first. You have a lot of things hanging there. It's like don't know if you call it like a coulisse as well. If you have like theater, you have the background.
Like the curtains?
The curtains and the scene, the scenario, so to say. It's just there setting. But also, the player, the ones that are in the theater, they are the main characters.
I love that.
You have them in your closet as well. You know which trousers, which t-shirt or shirt you will pick the first thing. Also, I put this back. It's a little like this in here, or it's a little long, or it doesn't fit so well. So then you have your favorites. So start by picking them first and see how much is that, and then get rid of the other things that are just hanging there that you haven't used. Many times I see, of course, that people have also the tags still there. The price tags are still there. And that's a really good clue that maybe I haven't used it, of course.
That's hilarious. Yes, we do that a lot.
Yes.
That's really funny. Okay, now storage. Here in America, I know that when you guys came for the show, you were in Kansas City.
Yep.
And I don't know how many other times you have been to America, but did you notice that we have storage buildings like off-site?
Yes.
What we do here in America is we collect so much shit that it won't fit in our house. So then we go rent a storage place somewhere else to keep all of our extra shit.
Yeah.
And then in some cases, once that extra storage space gets filled up, we go rent another one somewhere else and fill that up with shit.
Yeah.
Is that distinctly American, or do you guys do that over there too?
We have storage units here, of course, as well, but we use them just for meanwhile. When, for example, if you are moving and you don't have the access to the new place, so you need to live somewhere else for a little while or something, or that, okay, we are renovating, so we can't have these things here now. We will pick it up later, and then you maybe rent it for a little while. But it's not like a permanent solution, so to say, like you just put the head in the sand and think, I forget it, but I don't want to take responsibility for the things that I have. So I pay for it. As you can imagine how much money it is as well to just storage all those things and pay for it every month.
I know a guy who moved away from Texas. He moved to like Virginia, and he was still looking for a place to live. So he got a storage unit, and then he ended up moving to Alabama, which is a whole different state far away. He never got rid of that storage unit in Virginia. So he has a storage unit that's not even in the same state as him, it's full of stuff, and he's been paying for that storage unit for 15 years.
Imagine how expensive those things are. Then it has really cost you.
And this is funny. When he got to Alabama, he rented a storage unit to put his guitars in because he's a musician and he didn't want a hurricane to come and get all of his guitars. So he has a storage unit with like 40 guitars in it that he never goes to. Why have 40 guitars if you can't look at them or touch them?
It makes me so sad to hear, because what a waste. If you have them, of course you should. I think that's really one of the keys if you talk in the Swedish way. We are a little more practical, and the things we have we use in kind of a way. And I think that's a really good method, actually, to use the things you have.
I think you're right. I think the Swedish are just better than us.
Yeah, I don't know, not in every way, but I think that's a good way to think of your stuff. The things I have, let them be in your everyday life so you can enjoy them. What's the purpose to have them in that storage unit if you can't even see them? So if you have a collection, of course, better to display them so you can see and enjoy them in your home then. If you like those kind of things, and that's something that gives you energy. It's another way if you have a lot of things and you think that it gives you a lot of guilt that I should play guitars. If you have that, gives you bad conscience if you see those all the time, then it's another thing. And then maybe it's time to sell them instead, I think, and not choose the ones that are your favorites, and maybe downsize it to half, or then when you have done that, you can take it half again. So it's like I say all the time, it's like you build up that decluttering muscle. You need to practice on it. You get more bolder the more you do it, so to say, like peeling an onion. It's layer by layer. So you train up that muscle.
That makes sense, because you would gain confidence the more you do it. Because at first you're afraid, oh, what if I get rid of that and then I need it? Or what if I get rid of that and whatever? So the more you do it, the more confidence you'll have to be like, oh, I feel like I can get rid of that because I know I'm not going to need it. Or if I do need it, I know where I can get another one.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's a muscle that you build up and kind of flex.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to talk about the show now. First, the Dalecarlian horse. Did I say that right?
Yeah, the Dalecarlian horse, yeah.
The Dalecarlian horse is a very Swedish symbol. Like the whole world knows that horse is from Sweden. So you can stamp that horse on furniture and people know it's from Sweden. You can put that horse on your mantle and people know you've been to Sweden.
Yes.
The history of that horse, I think Ewan explained to me that it was a sort of a carved toy for children, and that different areas of Sweden have different styles or colors of horses. Is that about right?
Yeah, it's not everywhere in Sweden. It's actually here in Dalecarlia where I live. But here the towns have different colors on the horse. But the original one is red with this countryside pattern, like kurbits, it's called, that pattern.
Are they everywhere? Can you just walk into any store and buy one?
Yeah, not in every store, but there are quite many places around here, because here we have a lot of tourist shops as well. So here you have a lot of them.
How many do you have at your house?
I just have, a few. I have a few. I actually have one special one that are black painted with this curves. I can show you later.
That'd be
See
cool.
that little horse.
That'd be cool. I want a Dalecarlian horse from Sweden that's signed by you and Ewan the next time y'all get together.
Yeah, we can fix that, of course. The factory is here. The original factory is just a few miles from where I live, actually. So there you can order them and also get your name and so on.
Oh, that's really cool.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the television show is The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. As I said, it's on Peacock streaming and it's on Bravo. The hosts are you, Ella Engstrom, Ewan Svensson, and Katarina Blum.
Yes.
And it is executive produced and kind of narrated by Amy Poehler.
Yes.
How did they find you? Was this a casting call? Was this an audition? Did they pick up the phone and say, Ella, we need an organizer. You're the one. How did you become part of the show?
Yeah, actually, they reached out to me and they sent me an email, actually, and also a message in my Instagram and also on my LinkedIn. I got the message that we want to come in contact with you. We are doing a TV show and so on. So and at first I thought, what is this? I thought it maybe was a junk mail or something. But since they have tried to reach me in 3 different channels, I maybe thought that maybe they want to get in contact with me. So then I reached out, and then we had like interviews and so on due to Zoom. And then after that, I flew over to Los Angeles. We did this chem test when we were filming and testing out which host would be a good fit.
Okay, this is a weird question. You did a chemistry test with Katarina and Johan.
Yeah.
All 3 of you live in Sweden.
Yes.
So why go to LA to see if you guys can work together? Why not just, wouldn't it be easier to send a camera over to Sweden? Like,
yeah, maybe.
Why?
Maybe. Yeah, but that was the process actually, because the production team were there in Los Angeles. So we flew over and there were a few more Swedes with us. So we did film for a day. And we immediately felt hope that we 3 were the ones that were picked out, because we felt that we had a good chemistry. We didn't know each other actually before we flew over. So that was the first time Johan and I and Katarina met each other. But we hit it off directly, and it's like a second family now. Those people.
So all 3 of you are still good friends?
Yeah, absolutely. We have contact every week. We talk to each other and have a WhatsApp group. So we send each other messages. And also when we got a lot of message from the viewers. And when they send like a special message and so on, we forward that to the others.
That's really sweet. As a matter of fact, Ewan was in your town a couple of weeks ago, I think, right? And
yeah, he was here and slept over at my place. We have like a good dinner and have some wine and drinks and so on. And then we did go on an excursion, an outing here, and go and visit some good fika places together as well before he went home.
Okay. Fika, ladies and gentlemen, is a Swedish, basically a coffee break that you do in the middle of the afternoon, and then you do one in the late afternoon, maybe like around 10 or 11, and then one like around 2 or 3 o'clock. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And also after lunch is also very important that we take a fika.
Okay, what is the purpose of a fika? Why is it important?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little time to just be a little rest, talk to each other. If you're in the workplace, you have this little time together to just mingle around, sitting and having a good break, and also talk. Of course, you talk about everyday life and also a little about work as well, of course. It's easy to slip into work issues as well. But it's a good thing, because then you meet other departments and so on also. So you can, you're working with that, and we are doing this, then maybe we should set up a meeting and talk to each other about that. So it's a good thing that connect people very easily.
So is this something that only office people have, or like do construction workers have fika also?
Yeah, everyone. It's actually in the law that you should have a fika break 2 times a day.
Really? It's part of the employment law over there?
Yeah, it is. It is that you have those breaks to the day. So you have those, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and then you have lunch break. So you have that so everyone has it.
Do you feel like that helps people's productivity? Do you think it helps them get more done?
Yeah. I mean, actually, it was an old thing that you have that fika, and it actually started because there were a lot of accidents in the factories. And then they said that we need to have a break. And then they saw that numbers went down. So it was like a smart thing to do, actually, to get it more efficient. So I think it is. You have that. And it's a 10-minute, 15-minute break. And then you go back. So it means a lot to you. You just, if you are in office and you are sitting and looking at your screen, it's also good to just come away for a little while and just have that bensträckare, as we say, to go up and have a little walk and change environment for a little while.
Hey, streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
There is a Swedish word. I don't know what it means. Help me out. I want to say lagom.
Yes, lagom.
What is that?
That's really just the Swedes that has that word. And it means that not too much, not too little, just the right amount. So we are like in the middle ground zone, you can say. So the lagom way is not too loud. It's a really Swedish way, and it's like in our bones. We are living the lagom way also as people. It's not good to be like, I'm the best, like then you are like... not so popular. You shouldn't bother anyone or put a burden on everyone and someone else and so on. So I think that's also why we have this Swedish death cleaning, because that's one of the things, just to don't put the burden on others. You take care of your own shit, so to say. So it has quite a lot to do with lagom.
Now, were you surprised when you got here that Americans don't feel comfortable talking about death? Like the fact that it's called Swedish death cleaning. Were you surprised at how Americans reacted just to that word?
Yeah, actually, I was quite surprised because it was like a taboo over there, a morbid thing. Because here it's, of course, not everyone is comfy about talking about death. That's not the topic you bring up every day, but we talk more about it here. It is what it is, and everyone is going to die someday. We don't know when.
Well, not Americans. We're not going to die, so...
No, almost not. It feels like that. I mean, it was quite shocking that it was such a difference in that sense. And also, I know that the title of the show has made some people don't want to look at it as well, because they are like a little terrified about the title. And that's a shame, I think, because it is about life, actually, and how you can live more here and now.
Yeah, I think that the best adjective that sort of displaces the heaviness of the word death in the title is gentle. I mean, it's the gentle art of Swedish death cleaning. I'm assuming that their hope was that the word gentle was going to offset the word death over here in America. It kind of didn't work that way, I don't think, but I can see why it should.
It's the lagom way of death,
right.
You know?
Okay, when you came to Kansas City, I mean, in the opening of the show, it shows that you guys packed basically one suitcase each. But I know that you guys had sort of costume designers and set directors there, because I asked Ewan, because Ewan wore, I think there's, I don't know, what is there 8, 9 episodes? How many episodes are there?
8.
8? Okay. So in the 8 episodes, I think Ewan wore 14 different pair of shoes.
Yeah.
I asked him if he brought all those shoes with him, and he said no. The customer or the set designer or whatever helped curate that kind of his style. Also, they helped with your style, right? Because in those 8 episodes, you probably wore 15 different pair of glasses.
Yeah. I have had a lot of glasses in the show. That was my signal.
There was your signature, and they were all beautiful. Every single pair was amazing. Now, did you take all those glasses with you, or did the set designer person help you cultivate that look once you got there?
I had some of them with me from the beginning, and also my own style. It was like 2.0 upgraded. So they took our style that we have from the beginning and just made it even more clear and so on, and got us more of everything so we could have different things.
Are those glasses prescription?
No, it isn't, actually.
No, they are. They're all just regular, just clear. Okay, cool. So did you get to take all of those glasses home with you?
Yeah, if I wanted. I took some of them with me. I took a few clothes also, the glasses, and some of my necklace and so on home here. Sweden.
Once you got home with all those extra glasses and extra necklaces and extra clothes, did you have to get rid of some stuff at your house to make room for the new stuff you were bringing?
Yes, of course. I need to set an example, I can't say to everyone else to do it like that and don't do it by myself. So, yeah, I did declutter and take away some other things then and made space for them.
When is the last time that you got rid of something and later on you realized, shit, I shouldn't have got rid of that?
It's quite a long time ago. It doesn't happen so often. Of course, it happens. Okay, that could be useful right now. The time and the energy and the space that the things take from you isn't worth saving everything just in case, so to say. In the worst case, you can get a similar one or a new one.
The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, Season 1, again, it's available on Peacock and Bravo. There had been some talks about maybe a Season 2, and if there was going to be a Season 2, it was going to be in Austin, Texas. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that was right. Absolutely. We don't know yet. We are still waiting. It's unfortunately it was this strike as well, in the industry. So it delayed everything. And after that, nothing is quite the same after that as well. So we'll see what happens. We cross our fingers, of course, for a new season. So we are ready.
The production company is the same production company that did Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, right?
Yeah, it is. Scout Production, yeah.
One of those hosts is Jonathan Van Ness.
Yes.
All three of you were on his podcast a while back. Now, he was saying that he hopes that you guys do a second season and come to Austin because apparently he lives in Austin.
Yeah, he lives there as well, yeah.
If there is a second season, are you guys going to go to his house and make over his house?
Yeah, I hope so. He wants to have some help. I will give him a kick in the butt. He had a lot of things, he said. So he says we are like his reality TV cousins,
Yeah, and I think it'd be a great crossover for his show and your show. I don't know if his show is still on, but I think that'd really be a great, especially since it's the same production company.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But of course, it would be really nice to meet him, of course.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
In live.
Mm-hmm. Plus, if you got Kansas City is nothing like Austin. So if you guys come to Austin, it's going to be a whole nother different experience. And Austin is about 1 hour from my house. And I already told Ewan, if you guys come to Austin, I'm headed down there for some fika. And he said he's down if it works, but I would love to have fika with both of you. That'd be amazing.
Of course, we should do that in that case, of course.
Absolutely, we should do that in that case. And also, I think that whenever my wife and I come to Sweden, we should just stay at your house.
Yes. We have our arms open. You're always welcome.
So sweet. Will you tell everybody where they can find you on social media? How do they follow Ella on social media and find out what you're doing and follow along on your travels and your excursions?
Yeah, the best channel to follow me is on Instagram. There I am called Engstrom. So it's ENGSROOM.
ROOM. Got it.
Yeah, room. Engstrom. So part of my last name and room. So that's my company name as well.
Oh, is that the name of your company where you organize stuff for people? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Engstrom. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Very cool.
Yeah, of course, I'm also in other social medias as Ella Engstrom, but the Engstrom is the name of the
perfect
the channel, and Insta is the one that I spend the most of the time.
This is a huge favor, and you can say no, but will you say, this is Ella Engstrom, and you're listening to Fascination Street Podcast. Now go get your shit together.
Yes, okay. I can do that. This is Ella Engstrom, and you are listening to Fascination Street Podcast. And go now and get your shit together.
Love it. I love that.
Was that good?
No, that was perfect. Every interview that I have heard you in, you say some version of people need to get their shit together. I love
Yes,
it.
yes,
It's like
but
your
that's true.
catchphrase.
Yeah, yes. And I didn't know actually either that was such a bad word in the US
It's
that
not.
it is here.
It's fine.
We are saying skit. Det är massa skit we are saying in Sweden. It's a lot of things like shit. Yeah.
You know what?
But it's
Will you do me a favor? Remember when I had you say, this is Ella Engstrom and you're listening to, will you say all of that in Swedish?
Yeah, I can do
go ahead.
that.
Do that. Do it in Swedish. Do it in Swedish.
Det här är Ella Engström och du lyssnar på Fascination Street Podcast. Och vet du vad? Gå och få din skit samlad.
I love that. That is so cool.
I should do it again because it wasn't quite right. I can do it again.
Okay, go ahead.
Det här är Ella Engström och du lyssnar på Fascination Street Podcast. Så gör så nu att ta dig samlan.
I love it. That is fantastic. I have no idea what you said, and I don't know if you messed it up or not, and I don't care.
Jo, I missed it again. I should do it a third time.
If you want to, go ahead.
Det här är Ella Engström och du lyssnar på Fascination Street Podcast. Och du vet du vad? Ta hand om din egen skit så slipper andra.
Oh my gosh. That is so cool. I'm going to make that the ringer on my phone whenever somebody calls me.
I said, take care of your own shit so others don't have to do it. That's what I said.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Ella, as we're heading out, is there anything I didn't ask you or we didn't talk about specifically that you wanted to talk about today?
Oh, that's a hard question. I don't think so. I think we have touched the show as well, and it was so fantastic to help these people. And the thing that is so cool is that I have got so many messages from people that have watched the show saying that they have got so much help just watching the show. So that makes my heart so glad to hear that we can reach out to everyone and be a good help for the ones that watch them.
What's the biggest thing you learned from doing the show, whether it was something about America or something about doing the show in general or something about yourself? What was the biggest takeaway from that experience?
It's not about the things, it's about the experience and about the people and that you have around you. That's the main part that goes in every level, kind of say, that you take with you yourself, and you saw that that's the same. I think doesn't matter what country you are in, that's the same for everyone when it comes to the end, so to say. And I think that's, if you're scared of the word death, I think if you look at it through the lens of death, everything gets clear. What is the important things in life? It is about your loved ones and the friends that you have around you. That's things that means the most in life, actually.
Well, what beautiful words to go out on. Oh my goodness. Ella Engstrom from the television show on Peacock and Bravo, The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. Also, if you happen to live in Stockholm and need an organizer, reach out to her. She can help you out with her own business.
Yes, and I actually do online coaching as well.
Oh, you do it online too?
Yeah, I do that. And I have like courses as well. So I'm translating them now to English. So stay tuned. So
And where would people find that? Would they find that on your Instagram? How would they reach out for that?
On my homepage, they are and I also gonna link a lot of it, of course, on my Instagram as well. But on my homepage, it's the same name, Engstrom.com. .com.
Oh, cool. Ella Engstrom, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic Delaclarian horse schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was really nice to be in your podcast talking to you.
Well, I had so much fun. I've been looking forward to this basically since the show first aired, and I reached out to all three of you at the very beginning, and I had Ewan on, and then Ewan was sweet enough to help me get you on the show, which I can't thank him enough. But I've really been looking forward to talking to you guys since the show first aired. And when that show first aired, my wife and I just blew through the whole thing as fast as possible. We loved it so much. It was really, really good. So hopefully there'll be a second season and you'll come to Austin, and then my wife and I will come down there and have fika with you guys.
Yes. Let's cross our fingers for that.
Let's cross our fingers.
Yes.
Ella, thank you again. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, the same to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Opening music is the song FSP Theme, written, performed, and provided by Ambush Vin.
Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jax Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.